Hey everybody, welcome to Workforce Gaming. I am Brad, here with Doug.
Hey.
Iron Lung is a short, moody horror game from the
Hmm.
people who developed Dusk, which is
Yes.
completely not that.
Yes.
So,
No. Yeah.
kind of one of those change of pace games, it sounds like, for a developer. So, I've never heard of this. I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
What is this thing?
Iron Lung is the guy who created Dusk, which is this, like super fast paced Quake like shooter game that I'm playing right now and really enjoying. During COVID, he created another game that's just kind of this short, sort of like 1 hour long, one off game that's like a really moody, sort of atmospheric horror game. And it had kind of gotten some rounds like, hey, this is something kind of cool to look at. Why don't you take a look at this? So I took a look at it, and I came away with it very disappointed, but I think just because it lays out a placemat that's just so interesting that like in the back of my head I was like, boy, I really want you to nail it. I think the game, just the concept, sort of sets up almost like too high of expectations for what it is.
Okay.
So what is it? So Iron Lung is a first-person game that takes place in this very small submarine. By very small submarine, it's essentially like a hallway that you can take about 10 steps in. And
Like PT-esque? Like that type of deal? Or it's just kind of that one hallway you're looping through or something? Or
no, it's just like you can walk forward and you can walk backwards, and it's like 10
Okay.
steps. Like it's like a very very small hallway, just length, just like a straight hallway. Of like on the front side is your controls from the submarine, and the back side is a camera, which I'll explain in a bit. But the setup for Iron Lung is fucking cool. In the future, there was something called the Quiet Rapture. And what happened was, so all the starships are up in the air, and all of a sudden, all planets with any sort of living life completely disappeared, and nobody knows why. So the only people that are left are these people on starships.
Okay.
And it's discovered that, and these starships, they have like, there's a battle that they have that you read about, is like through the sort of like text document thing. And one of the starship groups has discovered a planet that has an ocean of blood on it, and they don't know why. And it's the only living thing that is currently in all the known universe. So what they do is they send down, because it's really dangerous, they don't know what's going on, they send down convicts in these things called, I guess they're called the Iron Lung, which is like this really shitty tiny submarine that you can't see out of, and they're just supposed to go down and explore the depths. And the way you explore the depths is you can't actually see out in the ocean. What you do is you turn your submarine to specified coordinates, and then you take a photo, and then you wait for the photo to develop in the back of the submarine. So like you'll just get a map, it'll tell you like go to these coordinates, and like you need to steer your little submarine by accelerating and decelerating it, and you can't see anything, you can just see the coordinates on your like screen of
So
like
like you
where
need to
you're
get to
going.
like 42 and it's like you're at 38, you're at 38 and a half, you're at 39, you're 40. Okay, you're at 42.
Yes.
Now you stop, take the picture.
Yes, exactly. And so you have a map, and the map shows you kind of like where things, like where you could run into stuff. So you're like so you're blindly like trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm at coordinate XY here. I need to get to this new XY coordinate, but at this point I need to make sure I'm in this position before I can keep moving, otherwise I'll run into something. Like the wall or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's really cool. It's super, super claustrophobic because you're just in this little submarine. And like, there's a little data set thing in the back that's like, everything about this mission is like, they don't care if you die. You're probably going to die. Everything about this is horrible. And I just really, really love this setup. That's just cool. Just like
Yeah,
you're in a
fair.
submarine that's like a really shitty submarine, going through an ocean of blood, and this is a no hope mission. And the thing, I think the thing that I was having the most issue with is the mechanics ask you to be really, really patient, because what you're doing, you're literally flicking between a map that you're not located on, and you're
Hmm.
sitting there like plotting out XY coordinates, like, okay, I'm gonna go from here
Okay.
to here, and then here to here, and then here to here, and then you're just seeing the numbers on your dashboard light
Yeah.
up of like, I'm going this, I'm going this speed, I'm going this and that, and and you're supposed to go to specific points on the map, and it just took forever to get to those specific points on the map, that any sort of like, it was fun and moody for like the first 10 minutes, but then after a while, like, I don't know, man. It's just like I go and take a picture, and sometimes the picture is not that spooky. Like they're trying to build the tension.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, when's, and then in the back of my head, it's like, okay, when's the thing I'm going to take the picture of, and it's going to be spooky. And that takes like a while to happen. But so like I'm just like anticipating this scare that's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, and guess what? It does happen. And I
this
think
is all
that
taking place in an hour-long game, right? So it's too long, it's slow, it's all this stuff over the course of 60 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's not. And I think the thing is that these scares are so clear of what's going to happen. And I think just for me, it was like maybe just like too predictable, because the thing that's kind of fun is like when you take the photo, you go into the back of the ship, you hit a button, and there's this huge black screen that fills up your entire screen. And it goes, you hear this like sort of like a printing noise, and then just shows the picture like really big and bright. So like the first few photos you take are of like like these like weird skeletons that kind of look like whales, but kind of look like dinosaurs. And you're not quite clear. But then after a while, like your imagination comes and goes wild. It's like, ooh, I'll probably take a spooky photo at some point. It's like, ooh, I'll bet there's stuff in the water. And like everything you think just kind of happens. So there's no real unique escalation. Just kind of how you think the thing will escalate is how the game escalates.
That overly predictable, just, yep, and then this, and okay, I'll bet I'm going to see, and there it is. That kind of deal.
And there's like a fire extinguisher you can use. And it's like, I'll bet I need to use this fire extinguisher at some point.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it was. It's just like, it was this really cool small indie game, and I just feel like those really small short indie games, like they need to make such a strong impression, and this game just didn't. And it sucked because the setup was neat. I thought the mechanics of actually driving the thing and being blinded and taking a photo was like kind of neat. But it just felt like the story that was the scares that were built on top of that were just like way too predictable. And the thing was like, I saw the ending coming a mile away, but it's like with these indie games, I feel like it's not their job, and it shouldn't be an expectation to be subversive, but I was just like, where's the subversive part? And I was like, there is no subversive part.
But I mean, but that's kind of the cliche that's kind of happened with so many of them, is that so many of them are intentionally very subversive. So when you think indie horror, you think indie sci-fi, you're kind of assuming there's going to be some weird moment where like it's going to something's going to come out of left field, just because that's so frequently what happens that I could see it almost being a little bit shocking is probably the wrong word, but shocking to be like, oh, we're just straightforward going in this. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, like anti-subversive almost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's subversive. And it's lack of subversiveness.
Version, yeah. And I felt like I kind of put like too much on it, I think, as a result of that. But I think it was just because mechanically, like just the limitations that it put itself on the game were just so cool that I was just expecting that maybe it's putting these limitations on to do something big, and it just never quite did.
Never got there.
Yeah. That's it. Short review.
We are Workforce Gaming. You can follow us on Twitter at Workforce Gaming, or subscribe to us wherever you're listening, and we will see you later.
Bye.